One day in the season of autumn. That sounds okay. The camera looks like it's working. Okay, is anybody in there? Oh, good. We've got Morgantown, West Virginia. Good to hear from you. Mike O'Loughlin here, Kansas City, Missouri, at the Irish Roots Cafe. We'll give people a few seconds to chime in here. I've got... this is the Irish Roots Cafe, where every day is a holiday, and there's always room for one more. I've done a lot of books and broadcasts and blogs and CDs and DVDs since 1978 under the name of Irish Genealogical Foundation and the Irish Roots Cafe. We also have the Irish Roots Cafe House Band, which is separate, but I'm a member of both. The house band's doing great. We're playing the Dublin Irish Festival this year, and we're also, the Irish Roots Cafe Genealogy is going to be down in Louisville for sure, and it's looking real good. I'm telling you, we're having a great time singing in Irish and English and tracing back roots in whatever language we can manage to do it. Now today I'm going to try 3 songs, and I've been working on them for a week or two, so this is sort of getting me ready to do it for live performances too, on stage. So I see we've just got one confirmed check-in, and maybe there's always about 6 or 7 lurkers out there, and I'll pick one of those 3 Kerry songs. I picked Kerry because that's my mother's family, the Donahues from County Kerry, and she told me a few stories, although she had never been to Ireland or to County Kerry. A few stories had been passed down, and she talked about them, and I remembered them, so I found I had three Kerry songs in my repertoire, so I thought I'd try them today. And if you've got roots in Kerry or just in Ireland, you might like to hear it. One's in Irish and 2 are in English. Now, Sean-Nós officially has got a lot of ornamentation in it, and I do have some Sean-Nós songs, but these aren't they wouldn't be 100% Sean-Nós. These are more traditional, and one's even got a little modern flavor to it. So I think what will we do? We'll start with a song I heard Frank Hart do, the Rambling Kerryman, and the big test is going to be how many times do you hear the name of the county that jives with the name of the song. And we'll see what this fellow had to do, but there were hard times in Ireland sometimes, and you had to pick up and work, and you had to travel to work, and you never know what you might run into on the way. And where you came from really meant something too. This song will give you a little gives you a little flavor. And oh, there's Michael Collars here. That's good. That's great. Michael's the one that helped us put together the Sean-Nós gathering in Kansas City, which turned out great. And yes, the Sean-Nós orientation does differ quite a bit. Most of my Sean-Nós, when I'm singing true Sean-Nós, goes to the West Coast, maybe Galway. Joe Heaney is who I first picked it up from. And, of course, then I branch out a little bit. But, yes, it does. And, actually, it means old style. So, if it was 100, 200 years ago when you were singing, that would be official Sean-Nós. But, unfortunately, not a lot has survived. There's a few families that have carried it on in a few areas. But you can always see, even in modern music, you can see the lilt of the Irish. And some of that has carried right on through. So, we'll try the one by Frank Hart, Rambling Kerryman. Oh, one day in the season of autumn, in the year 24, well, you know, the bad times were fast approaching, so I picked up my scythe for to mow. My hand being fair in the motion, with my sandblock, my hook, and my stone, and my scythe I did sharpen so neatly, when the hay from the heavens was thrown. So I made my way straight to Tipperary, to hire for a season, you know. I stood on the Meeting Lane corner, and held up my scythe for to show. A widow convenient to Bancha observed me there standing alone. She modestly then did approach me, and said she had hay for to mow. She asked me what county I came from, and where I did mean for to go, and whether by daily employment or by task I was willin' to mow. I told her I came from a county where men of great fame do resort, and I never would collect my wages until all of her hay I'd cut short. Well, she said she would hire me for a fortnight, and then if she liked how I mow, she'd hire me to cut for the harvest, and for the thrashing she'd keep me also. My diet would be dressed in rotation with the best that the house could bestow, and she said the longer that we are acquainted, the better you'll like me, I know. So we met at her meadow that evening. She said I should cut it quite low, but as soon as I entered that quarter, she said I was cutting too slow. Well, I did endeavor to please her, for I being so far from my home. And she said if I worked hard at my labor, soon her farm at Sweet Bancha I'd own. So I cut all her hay and her corn, and I thrashed all her wheat and her oats. 'Twas then I asked for my wages, and said I'd be hittin' the road. Oh no, do not forsake me, and leave me to grieve and condole. Sure 'tis I will keep you from hard labor, and my farm at Sweet Bancha you'll own. We came to agreement that evening. I said I would never go home. I would spend my life with her, to plow and to reap and to sow. So we went for the clergy next morning. He tied the knot on us so fair, and now we live near Sweet Bancha, together forevermore. That's it. That was my first time doing it from scratch, seeing if I had it live. Thank you very much. And I see Katrina, Shannos driven varies a little bit. Yes, we heard about that's true. And yes, Michael, I did get Bridget Fitzgerald's CD from Molly, but I have not played it yet. Just saw Molly yesterday, so that'll be very interesting and good for me. Let me see. I did want to make sure that the Irish Roots Cafe, everybody knows that's me, and that's something I started 20, 30 years ago. My books, everything all together, genealogy, research, publishing. And the Irish Roots Cafe House Band is a separate organization that I am also in, and we're doing real well and starting to play some festivals. And we will be at the Dublin, Ohio Festival, August 1st and 2nd with the music, and 1st, 2nd, and 3rd with the genealogy tent up there at the top of the hill right by City Hall. And they've added 10 acres this year. Can you imagine adding 10 acres to a festival? That makes it at 30 or 40 acres. I don't know which, but it's well run. I'm telling you, I've seen it for 15 years, and it's really been something. And then we're also going down to the Louisville Irish Fest, and that will be around September 27th, I think it is. They're great down there. Last time we went, they gave us free samples everywhere we went to eat. They gave us a full bottle of barbecue sauce at the barbecue house, and a whole pack of condiments at the chili house, just because we were from out of town and they wanted to be hospitable. So That's a real fun thing. It's down there at Bellarmine University in the little common area there, and it's just a real comfortable place to go, and it's growing too. You never know where we're going to end up. Thanks, Mike. You sent one to the P.O. Box. Oh, that's right. And our P.O. Box is P.O. Box 7575, Kansas City, Missouri. And, of course, my email's mike@irishroots.com. On Facebook, where we put up some songs and let people know where we're going with the band, that's Irish Roots Cafe. And Irish Roots Cafe is also what we use at Gig Masters in case you want some official booking information. We're out there everywhere, I'm telling you. And, of course, my place is irishroots.com, and that's what I've had for 30-some years. I've got a little bit of everything there, 300 podcasts, and some videos are going back up. And just a lot of information on all the books and things that we're publishing. I'm wondering, we got 2 more songs here I was going to try to get in. We've got Days of the Kerry Dancing, which is sort of a modern sounding song, but it's been around a long time. A million people have done it, especially back in the earlier years. John McCormick, of course, did it. And in modern days, the tenors have done it, and it's pretty famous, but it's more of a modern one. And then the other one I've got is the Accursed Kerryman, and that is in the Irish, and that's slow, and it's got sort of a tempo that you might say could be a slow modern song, but it's still a little bit further back, and I found it in an old book with Irish songs. And in this little book, a priest had gone around and collected all the songs from the area that were traditional and they were afraid might be lost. And I found this up here in Missouri in a little small town by the river. And the whole book is in Irish, the text and the song. And the notation, they did not use musical notation like we have today. They put, it was a do-re-mi type scale. Above the word or the syllable, they would put a D for do, a R for re, that type of thing. So you would have to transpose it back into notes. But I thought that was pretty interesting in itself. I hadn't really seen it before. I'd heard people talk about it. So let me see, which one should we do? Maybe I'll try the Accursed Kerryman. Now in this song, he says he'll follow her anywhere, all the way west to Carberry, was it maybe, in Cork? I'm not sure, but he'd follow her anywhere, and if she doesn't go with him, he'll be heartbroken. And if she does come with him, she'll never have to work the potato field. She'll never get welts on her hands from rowing a boat. It'll be a life full of whiskey and silver and gold, and it's just going to be a good time, you know. So he's pitching it pretty hard. And there's some of the song I haven't quite figured out altogether. There's some subtle meanings in there. I'm going to have to get together with some experts and figure out what that means. But so I'll here take a little drink, and we'll try the Accursed Kerryman. Okay, here we go. Malianim godian tu shiar kun carabrav Kaye dimukiel mar eggel evo alalum oro beda shilla nan yor Natarim yo ivgon yor kid eregid Stampy ri huxan go kreen and dashkagat oro egor kushta shanroid Aniva clegg arnovniv arov nara Nao krakan namona Hanana for halaren Bavrinka fa Dagin mashes faralat Or savi ego les bashki Oro Better shilla oro Fadam ibio nor of Ran Vilan, Ai Hataga, Snafwar Shiishtiganamya Suarime, Oro, Do Chaso Logon. Do a frabashi in a sea, a queen a chiderigid, Daharagovala sacrilem flasaniv, Oro, fadam vado shibio. Airi a carda ni flower na golian namai, Kierdum na banta agasarda hungarahya, Adangi arikmane do malmo kiderigid, Alina vere treve ladder, egdugan kanager. Oro snafader canoid. That's it for that. Oh, from the Shimsha. Oh, Michael says he heard this at the Shimsha Tir in Tralee, and I've seen that just one. I've been there 3 times. I think I've seen the same show, Fado each time. It was just when I go to Ireland, I always took a group with me, and the last day. We sort of got a little cleaned up, and we went to the Shimsha to hear the show in Irish, and everybody enjoyed it, and just really topped off a trip real good, after tramping around graveyards and castles and beaches and walking along those narrow paths. We come in and we have a nice old time the last day, and it was just fitting. And then we get up the next day and head on up towards the airport, and it was great. So anybody going there, the Shimsha Tir in Tralee, good place to stop for a nice finale, I'm telling you. And then they've also got the, the Fitzgerald Museum, something like that. Not really Fitzgerald, but the Geraldine. It's like an interactive display. They carry you through on a cart, and you can hear the animals and things like that as you go along through this old village, and the sounds of the people and the smells of the village too, whether you like it or not. So yeah, Tralee has a few different things to go to there, so it's a lot of fun. Let me see any other comments there from out there. Katrina, West Virginia. Anything up there? Are you still there? You never know who's listening and who's not. That's 2 of the songs. The last one will be an easy one to go out on. I'll be sort of happy. Just want to talk a little bit about the gathering we had. Michael's on here now, and he came down from Boston into Kansas City, and we had 4 days and 5 locations of public song, dance, old-style song and dance, and the musicians got in there, and we had some sessions, and it was a real good time. All together, a couple hundred people came through, and that was real good. There's never been anything quite like that in Kansas City. There's been a few seminars and things like that you pay for, maybe a quick little one-day thing. But this was really, really a lot of fun. And we did sort of a mini thing of that for some kids in school. Came up from a local town nearby, and we did a little thing for them in Brown's. And Brown's is the oldest Irish business in North America, family-run Irish business in North America. So that's an appropriate place to do it, and we had a lot of fun with the kids, and they liked it, and it went real well. So we're real happy we had those gatherings, and you could put one on in your town easy enough too. We could even come and help, but we'd have to see about that. So Michael, thanks for that, and I'm still waiting for the video to be edited by the folks at the Celtic Ranch. But I got you the photos from a lot of the photos from Brown, so we got a good start on that. Any other questions or thoughts or things you might want to do in the future online? I'm just sort of doing this. We could also do some genealogy tip type things, and I plan to get some musicians in. The band will come in as soon as we free up from what we're doing. I think they're always invited to the broadcast. The Irish Roots Cafe House Band. and we're all getting ready for that Dublin festival at the very end of the month, or start of August 1, 2, 3. So they're busy at that. I thought I'd do this just to oil things up and make sure everything was still working, and keep everything oiled up so we can decide which direction we're going to go. I can have the band come in a lot more. We could even tape a session, or we could tape a practice when we're rehearsing. There's no end to it. And I could go out and get some of the bands in the community or people traveling through that have an Irish bent, and we could do that if you'd like that. So if you got any thoughts on that, pass it on either now or later. Just leave a message, and I'd appreciate it, it's for sure. And you can contact me on the web, on the email, mike@irishroots.com, or right here on this. So anytime, anything you want. So that gives us, we'll move to the last one, which is Kerry Dancing. And I learned this because my mom would talk, and she'd say, even though she hadn't been to Ireland, she'd say, "Oh, I can see it now. There's this beautiful glen and a white horse running through the glen." And I pictured it in my mind, and one day I did. I said, "How do you know?" She says, "Well, my mother told me, and her mother must have told her." But I thought it was pretty funny. But you know, I did go back and find some legends on the O'Donohues of the Glen. That would be Killahaw Castle, and I found some good stuff on them and the traditions, and they'd have some legends about the pipers they had that were playing, and the legends of O'Donohue of the Lakes. And I think he was on a white stallion, but he was under the sea or something, and he'd rise one day to do what? To lead Ireland to freedom? I'm not sure. I'm going to have to read that again. But here we'll do just a little bit of Days of the Kerry Dancing. I'll just do a couple verses. Oh, the days of the Kerry dancing, oh, the ring of the piper's tune. Oh, for one of those hours of gladness, gone at last like our youth too soon. When the boys began to gather in the glen of a summer's night, and the Kerry pipers piping filled our hearts with wild delight. Oh, to think of it, oh, to dream of it, fills my heart with sadness. Oh, the days of the Kerry dancing, oh, the ring of the piper's tune. Oh, for one of those hours of gladness, gone at last like our love too soon. Oh, was there ever a sweeter calling in the dance than Eily Moore, or a lad as brave as Daddy as he boldly took the floor? Lads and lasses, to your places down the middle and back again, oh, the merry-hearted laughter ringing through the happy glen. Oh, to think of it, oh, to dream of it, fills my heart with sadness. Oh, the days of the Kerry dancing, oh, the ring of the piper's tune. Oh, for one of those hours of gladness, gone at last like our youth too soon. And there's several more verses I'll have to learn one day, but those are the two I first picked up, so I kept them and thought I'd share them today, just to show a little change of pace. Let me see. The band and other musicians or singers also. Yes, I want to get the singers too. We've got a few. Just need to convince them to get brave and bring them in here. And Stevie's learned a couple of good ones. Firavata, she just learned that one. That's good. She's going to be performing that. And Borin Babe, good to see you. Keep telling stories and singing. Yeah. Oh well, yeah. I can always find more stories. Sometimes I don't know if that'd work. I'd have to practice up. And Michael, you'll be doing Kerry Dancing in Port McGee and Cork Dances in Knocknagree. And then later on in other places from Cork. I can't believe it. You'll be in Ireland next week. Hey, make some connections over there and tell them you know this Irish Roots Cafe house band, and they ought to invite them over. We could come over and learn from the experts and come back better than we are now and all enthused. I think that would be a great thing for us to get involved in somehow. So if you see any contacts, let me know. Kathy Overton. Yeah, Fearnabata. Yes, that's a good song, Kathy. And Neve Parsons does that, and I've taken some lessons in person and over the net from Neve, and now Stevie has too. She got with her to get the pronunciation down and the breakings, and she's done very well with it. It's going to be a very nice song. Let me see. That's all I can think of right now. I'm open to any suggestions you might have, and right now I've been doing this once a month or once every 2 or 3 weeks. It just depends on my schedule and what you all want. So thanks for tuning in. I'm starting to get familiar with this equipment, although there's a difference. My camera on the computer has a little bit better coloring. This new camera I've got, Logitech, it's good. It's a wider lens, but washes everything out, and it tends to turn things yellow, so I'll have to investigate what to do about that. Yes, Catherine, Stevie is singing, and hey, I hope you guys, anybody coming to the Dublin, Ohio Irish Fest, they put on a heck of a show, and if you do go by, be sure to holler at us. We'll be in the tent up by City Hall that says Genealogy on it, and then at 10:30 at night on Friday and Saturday, the band will be playing right next door at the Gaeilge tent. So if anybody does make it, be sure to say hello. And that's all I've got formally. My voice just barely held on for what we had. We did on the 21st. We did two live gigs outside that I hadn't done before. It was a little bit warm, and I strained my voice just a little bit. It's much easier to sing inside, I think, although it's great fun to sing outside. That's all I've got. Appreciate any comments you got. I'm glad you came along, and we'll keep them coming. It'll probably be a couple weeks before I do another one, but we'll see what we can get going. Thank you very much. That's the end of the formal show. I think they let me keep playing for a while, but I see a note to you from there, Michael. Milton Malbay with, Willie Clancy Summer School. Yes. Yeah, they're singing everywhere. You can't beat it. Claire is just loaded, too. Thanks, Katrina. Glad you tuned in. Hey, Kathy, I'm glad it's looking good on the laptop. You just never know what you're going to find or what you're going to see. Sometimes I wonder if I'm even going through. So if nobody commented, I'd figure I'd be talking to the air, but that wouldn't be bad altogether either. Okay, that would be it. I will see you all online in a couple of weeks if you come back. If not, you can visit me online at irishroots.com or Facebook or any of the other places. Sing another one. I could sing a short one, but what would it be? What's a little short one? Here's one I started a long time ago with about the lame duck. You know, how'd that go? Oh, that's terrible. And now I can't quite remember it. All I need is the first word. That great singing little girl, the girl from Cork, sang it. And what was that? It's about the lame duck, and he's going around and around. And oh, I could do that, but I should have put a list in front of me. But I try to do this barefoot, so I see nothing, and I'm on the spot. How about the old the old clattering belonged to my grandmother. She wore it a lifetime, then gave it to me. On her worn finger she wore it so proudly. 'Twas made where the Claddagh rolled down to the sea. And then they go on, and I can't remember it all there. Yes, I just remember the opening. It'd take me a couple seconds to recall the rest. Another one people sort of, Skibbereen. Skibbereen has actually, it's become the most popular song on YouTube I've ever done. It got 4,000 hits, like, extremely quick, and it really surprised me. It's such a slow song, I can't really play it at the concerts much. It's good for sessions, but, oh, Father dear, I oft times hear you speak of Aaron's Isle. her lofty scenes, her valleys green, her mountains rude and wild. They say it is a lovely land, wherein a king might dwell. So why did you abandon it? The reason do me tell. Oh, son, I loved my native land with energy and pride, until the blight upon the crops and the sheep and cattle died. They set my roof on fire with their demon yellow spleen, and that's a cruel reason why I left old Skibbereen. Your mother, too, God rest her soul, lay on the snowy ground. She fainted o'er in sadness, desolation all around. She did not rise, but passed away. She found a quiet grave, my boy, that night in Skibbereen. And you were only 2 years old, and feeble was your frame. I could not leave you with my friends, for you bore your father's name. So I wrapped you in my coat more, in the dead of night unseen, and heaved a sigh and said goodbye to dear old Skibbereen. Oh, Father dear, the day will come when vengeance loud will call, and errant sons will rally round, together one and all. And I will be the man to lead the van amid the flag of green, and loud and high will raise the cry, revenge for Skibbereen. Skibbereen. That's it. There's a couple more verses to that. That's all I could handle for the afternoon. Thanks, Kathy. Glad you enjoyed it. And I can't believe you got on late. I thought you'd be tuning in 15 minutes early just in case. Just as I was getting ready to start this, the lawnmower man showed up with his mower and his 2 helpers whipping the grass up and everything. And I'm thinking, oh, my gosh, what timing. So I had to tell him, do the house real quick and then go down to the valley down there and finish it up down there. But that's the way, isn't that the way it goes? I guess I had an excuse. I could have had him come in and mow the grass while I was singing, and you wouldn't be hearing my words or my tuning. And by the way, I just started this 5 or 6 years ago. I never sung, never read music. I mean, I know what music is, and I know what the notes stand for, but I've never read music. It's all by ear. So my philosophy was you hum it, you sing it, you learn a tune, and then you say the words one at a time, 2 at a time, maybe until you've done it 1,000 times, which takes 3 or 4 months if you do it 10 times a day, something like that. So after I've sung it 1,000 times or partially 1,000 times, then once I get to that point, I think, okay, now it's ready to get serious. And that's the only way I can do it, and that's all I can tell anybody else. If they want to sing and they haven't, it doesn't matter. It's about the song, not the singer. And you don't have to necessarily know everything and be perfect to start with. You just start for fun, and it'll grow out from there. And a lot of singing sessions, a lot of shan notes, that's how things get started. It's a people's thing. Okay, Catherine, I understand. I almost didn't make it on time. I had to keep switching things back and forth and keep it going. Thanks for the tips. That's great. I appreciate that. That keeps, I guess that'll pay the electricity bill, won't it? That's pretty good. And that's it. I'll be signing off now, and we'll see what we find. Catherine, next time I'll do something special just for you. You pick a song, and I'll do it. And if any others that are here today want a song too, and you might know it, then and I might know it, then let me know. I'll put that down, because them that support should get special favors in the Irish way. That's it. I'm going to hit the stop broadcast button now. It's been fun, and yep, thanks. I'm glad you all tuned in, and we're going to have fun. Yeah, that was Skibbereen, Catherine. It was written right after the famine, so it's really the granddaddy of all famine songs written in that area. There's been a couple other real good ones in more modern times, but that's just a good song that carries itself without music even. Matter of fact, I don't like it as much at all with music. You sort of lose something to it. Somebody who sings it well just really, it just works, I think. So, Catherine, you think about what you want and let me know ahead of time. That way I might have to practice it. Michael, you too, thanks for all the help, and I hope we stir up some more shan-nose gatherings somewhere across the country here, and maybe we'll get invited to help. But it doesn't matter. If we just hear about them, that they're going on, that's what I want to know. And we can start sharing some songs and some singing. So, thank you very much. It's been fun. Good night.